I think my biggest challenge in before attending the program, right, is that I did not know what to do about expanding my outreach to students and parents. So what do I mean by that is that, like, for example, I don't know how to properly transit from one-to-one to small group tuition. And that's something I've been wanting for the longest time. Even when I've attempted this before, I find that I do not know how to, like, even the simple logistics such as like collecting fees and how to go about conducting the group class properly, right? I find that I'm a bit lost about all of it. So that's my biggest challenge. So when I went into the program, right, I think that everything was laid out very clearly. John laid out very clearly about all the different parts, like what you should do. He was very systematic in carrying out his program, and he showed us like step by step how to actually go about, like, for example, thinking about our own branding first through the signature program and doing the inner work first, and then be like gently pushing us along the way, to actually hold the first webinar, and then subsequently the rest will come. So it's really a very step by step process that I really appreciate. And it was very doable as well because the steps were really broken down into very simple and easy steps. Yeah. So my biggest takeaway from the program is that I realized that, or building your own kind of like tuition business, right? Because we are all like one man show. It can be done in a very systematic way as long as you follow the steps. It's actually very doable, and you are not required to complete everything at one go. So, for example, I started off with first building my signature program. Then after that, getting over myself, my own anxiety and fear of speaking and holding a workshop online to actually carrying it out. Then after that, I did the whole planning for the first workshop. And it's a bit cliche to say that, but then usually after the first one, right, the first step is always the hardest. So after that, it gets easier and easier in a way. So by now, from the first webinar, first free webinar I held in July, right, I have already done about 8 webinars by now. Yes, I think in August alone for PSLE, I think I held about 3 to 4. Then during the September holidays, another 3 more. So, and I'm holding some more. So I'm really hitting on the pre-exam periods. Yeah. And what I find about this is I find that my time is actually used more in a more fulfilling manner. I'm really planning ahead. And this was one of the things that I think John mentioned about, like, you are kind of like planting for a future season. So by doing all this work now, it will bring you to the next step, and you will see the harvest like later on in a way. Compared to how much I invested, I feel that, to be really honest, the investment I put in, right, is really like more than 100%. I'll say 200 to 300% put back. Because to me, I believe a lot in personal investment in skills and upgrading yourself. So I do believe in coaching, and I have participated in such coaching workshops before as well, because I believe that it's a personal investment. It's just like how people invest in property and stocks and everything, right? This is a personal investment in yourself, in also building a business. So I feel that definitely the value we get out of this program is much, much more, because because John is really just so, like, he's so approachable. He's always there for his clients. Anytime when you message him, he's very clear in answering what you need. And I think what I really appreciate is that he really gets to the point and very quickly, and he really listens to what you actually think. Because I think a lot of times people are just like providing the solution, but sometimes he senses your fear. He doesn't like overly push you in that sense as well. He will just like, he's very good at understanding his clients, I'll say, in that sense. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so I mentioned that I've actually attended other trainings before. And I feel that what makes this very different is that we have quite a number of consistent trainings through the week. You can put effort to attend them. So what I noticed is, like, for example, a previous coaching program I have is that I do have a lot of individual sessions with the trainer, but we don't really have a community. That means we don't really meet up in a community. Maybe also because some of the clients are from US and Australia, so it's very hard to build a community because it's more international. But what I really appreciate about this is that I think this is probably the first in Singapore, if I dare say, where it's really tailored our local educators, our local tutors. So when we meet up, right, even in the group settings on Zoom, we can actually relate to each other's struggles because we all come from the same region, so to speak. Yeah, so we can relate to each other's like everyday struggles in our businesses and in our, you know, in the things that we face from a day-to-day basis. And this is something that I know in my like 15 years of tutoring, I have never really noticed before because tutoring can get very lonely, it's very one-man show. So sometimes when you want to relate to someone, we don't really have like a colleague to speak to. But in this program, we find that we have a lot of like-minded people that we can actually speak to and understand our struggle. So I think that's what makes this program very different. What do I like most? I think I already said a lot about what I like. Yeah, that John is very detailed and very clear cut. He is definitely one of the things I think that he really makes effort to do is that he even has co-create sessions where he addresses each that is like twice a month, where he will try to address what are some of the issues you're really facing, and then we work on them during the sessions. So I try to attend every single one because I think that is very important to really like get to the roots of the issue, because sometimes we can really fall behind when we get very caught up in our everyday routine, right? We don't really set aside time to think about what we want to do about business. So that one was really very useful. On top of that, he also organizes a lot of talks with other speakers and other people who are experts in their fields as value add to us. He's always thinking about how to make the program better. So I really appreciate this about him, that he's always thinking ahead about what his clients need and trying to organize all these talks and bringing us together to learn together. Yeah, so that's what I really appreciate. So I think one of the most memorable one was when John got Jolie from Blue Tree, and she said a lot. As I think she's really an expert in her own field. She's really fast. Yeah, so she shared so many business insights, right? I took so many away, and despite her position, what was very very surprising was that she was still very humble, and willing to speak and share and really come down and say that actually the building of communication and relationship with your clients is still the most important. So that was one of the most impact webinars I attended. Yes. I got to know about the program through community of tutors. We attended a networking event. So I remember telling John that actually that morning I didn't really want to go because it was very early and it was very far away. So I almost didn't want to go for the event, but I'm really, really glad I did. And I think John caught a lot of our attention from the start because despite the fact that he always says that, he suffers and all, I think he was such a charismatic speaker during the event. He really got our attention. He was very interactive, and I was really attracted to the fact that he taught about the signature program and the elevator pitch, because this was something I've never thought about. I just thought a lot about just sharing my qualifications and the work I do, but I didn't know that authentic interaction is actually the most important. And that was what I think attracted John at the COT events. Yes. I did have quite a number of concerns and skepticism, like whether I will be able to attend all the trainings, and with all new sign-ups, you are always very worried about, is it really worth the money? Because I mean, we all know that we are kind of like once you need to work in order for the income to keep coming. We're not like the regular employee. So of course I would say as tutors, I can understand that we can be a bit more, even more tight-fisted or even more skeptical when it comes to programs. But I want to say that I think all these concerns, right, early kind of like put aside slowly, because when you're inside the program, you interact with the other educators, right? They are really touched by the sincerity and the passion of some of the educators and the trainers. So when I first went into the program, there were already a few successful coaches before me who were also like my role models in the program, like people like Crystal, like Tammy and Leon. So they kind of like paved the way ahead, and I got to see what they were doing, and they were also very kind to actually let me tap onto their own webinars to see what they're doing as well. So I felt that all this really helped, because it's not just one man running the show, not like John just running the show. There's like this whole community of like passionate people working together, yeah, to do the program together. So I think this helped to clear my skepticism and the concerns I had, because I initially felt that, or what if I don't fit inside the program, or what if it's just going to be one of those programs that will keep asking you to sign up more stuff, but no, it's none of this. So I was really, really very grateful and very thankful. Definitely, you will get more value than what you actually put in. That's one thing I can say for sure. So I would definitely recommend this program to everyone. If you're still thinking about it, you're still skeptical, I have walked your road before. Just trust yourself, sign up for one term, join us, and you will see how different this community actually is. Yeah, I know there's another event coming up, right? Yeah, there's a new one coming up for that John is very kindly and generously offering to the COT members. So I hope that maybe from there, then you can see how we actually really interact and how it's very different from the rest. Yeah. At the end of it, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to John and his team, his wonderful tribe, or his wonderful team behind him doing all the work. You can also see from the people that he bring in, like those people that he work in, right, that they are all really quality experts in their own fields. They're really like very good at what they do. And the way that they stand behind him and support him, you can see what kind of people you're actually working with. So experience it for yourself. Thank you.